Hey, welcome to another episode of Geekly Revealed. It's that show that brings you geeky news on a weekly basis. Geeky Weekly, it's Geekly. How that's simple, everyone knows it. As always, it's me, it's your host, Dom, aka Brother Dom, all over the internet. And once again, I am joined by the freshest co-host. Would you like to tell the people who you are?
Hey y'all, it's Stephanie, aka Captain Steph on Twitter, the Snow Queer on Tumblr, and, you know, just a cool person all over the internet. Aw,
That's
how
fact.
you doing?
You know what? Everything's a lot. And
It sure is.
We are content creators, so I'm here to maybe bring some reprieve or some smiles or just a little bit of chill for everybody, you know?
Some peace and joy into this world. Peace and love, what's that from?
Peace and love and little donuts?
Well, there's that, but I think it might be what Vash the Stampede says in Trigun.
Yeah, I'm not the person to ask that.
Hey, it was like a classic Adult Swim anime. You could have watched it.
Oh no, I it's fair of you to have asked me. I'm just not the right person to know that answer. That was a fair question for me because I was around that time watching anime. I was thinking this week, I don't think I'm an anime fan more as I'm like a media fan, and anime happens to be part of anime. Or anime happens to be part of media. Because I don't watch like a ton of anime, and I don't like make any attempts to keep up with it or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? Maybe it's like I'm not a movie buff, but I am a gamer. That's pretty cool, right? But yeah, you know, we're doing a podcast. You know, have something for people to listen to in case we're all doing our own thing. As is in the news, we all know what's going on. No need to dwell on it. So let's talk about some pop culture stuff. You had some good stuff, right?
Yeah. So I mean, the hottest topic that I've got is my as spoiler-free as possible Onward review, I guess. So, you know that D&D-ass looking movie that Pixar just put out?
That, with like the D&D you said?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's two blue kids going on like a magic quest with their half of a dad.
Yeah, what is it? Star-Lord and Spider-Man, right?
It is actually Star-Lord and Spider-Man.
I'm paying attention. I know some things.
It was actually really funny because the theater that me and my roommate have started going to most frequently is like it's assigned seating, but we always manage to get seats in the very back, and like we're either there with seeing a movie there where there are a ton of children anyway, so no one cares if we're looking at our phones, or they're with a bunch of adults seeing a children's movie, and therefore no one cares if we're looking at our phones.
What a life.
But yeah, so like I was like checking, I was like, who's doing this voice? Like in the middle of the movie, like checking IMDb, but I
like that kind of experience idea where it's just kind of, we're hanging out, we're watching a movie, we're not taking it super seriously, but we're not like messing it up for other people.
Yeah, like I feel like there's like, obviously like there are certain movie experiences where I get pretty spicy about people like checking their phones really obviously, or like that kind of stuff. Like if you're seeing like a premiere night like MCU tentpole or something like that where people are like trying to pay attention, like don't be a dick. Yeah. But like if it's not gonna bother anyone, like don't, like just use your best judgment, honestly. Like I'm not that much of a purist about not checking your phone. Like
I sort of am in the sense of like if it's a movie worth watching, or if it's hard to hear. So like I'm not going to sit here and say the Saw movies for example are like high art, but sometimes the sound mixing is kind of weird. We're like, wait, what did they say? And since it's such bonkers nonsense, you need to hear every detail because one of them might matter later. But then on the other hand, they always just like, if some detail was important, they're going to spoon feed it back to you at the end. So if you miss something, it doesn't really matter. Like if somebody's on their phone next to me while I'm watching Jigsaw 2, which is, you know, they rebooted Jigsaw 2, I'm not going to be mad at that person. Now, if they're like talking or like making a bunch of movements, they're like, hey, relax, buddy. But like if someone would have been on their phone during Sonic, I'd be like, oh no, you're going to miss the part where he runs. But if I was like watching Parasite or something, I'd want to pay attention to that because it's like a whole thing. You know, it's like a prestige movie. So kids movies though, everyone's there for a good time.
Yeah, we're all there for a good time. We got, like, we're not missing anything from the movie, you know, like, not to say that it's like super simplistic or anything, but like, looking down for a second isn't gonna miss you a really hot pot point.
No.
But yeah, so it was a really enjoyable movie. It's so like as from the trailer, so it's about these two kids who their father passed away when they were really young, before the younger son could actually even meet him. And they discover, when the younger son turned 16, they discovered this spell that will bring him back for one day, so that they can spend a day with him. But it's like magic, like the kind of gimmick is that magic has kind of fallen out of style in this fantasy universe. Like, everyone just has cell phones and like drives to work and stuff. Yeah. So the kid's not that great at doing magic. It's like his first time, so they only summon the bottom half of their dad back.
I like that concept.
Right? So it's just like a pair of pants with like a glowing blue, like at the instead of obviously like viscera and stuff, like just glowing blue at the belt line.
Makes sense. This is for children.
Yeah, since it's for children, yeah. But just like to give you the mental image, like, of what it looks like. But they have to make they stuff like a hoodie and put like sunglasses on it so that they can wander around with him, because they have to. The way they ran out of power to do the spell after the first time, so they have to go find like a magical gem in order to finish the spell. But it's going to take them a long time, and obviously there's the ticking clock of they only have 24 hours with the spell from the moment they started the first time. So like a lot of hijinks and like really funny like fantasy jokes, and but also like clever observations about suburban life kind of jokes, and heartfelt sibling moments and whatnot. And
sounds like a pleasant time.
It was quite a pleasant time. There was, as promised, a canonically lesbian character in her, which honestly I'm gonna give it the first like actually gay moment in a Disney film, because she actually says the words "my girlfriend," as opposed to like being like a weird background moment where like that's like, I don't know, interpretable as something else.
Yeah, like easily like smudged away, or like doesn't actually matter.
Yeah, so that was something. Truly, like the most out of touch possible. I mean, like, it's Lena Waithe, who is amazing, but like,
so like they did like it. How do I put it? That's like a good thing. Like that it's it's like a queer woman of color that did this.
Yeah, and then they made her a cop, which is the most favored profession of the LGBTs.
I mean, in fantasy, apparently. I saw somebody say something on Twitter, so take this as it is, but they were saying that they're from like a different country than we are.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't censor this in their country, and from that lens, it was actually very groundbreaking. And it's one of those things where I like to sometimes think outside of my own bubble in a way, to be like, well, what does this mean for places where this isn't as commonplace? Like, this one action that's not even remotely enough in our country, or not in our country, let's say like our worldviews. Mm-hmm. What else is this doing? Like, so I think about like being in Pittsburgh, where on the whole, it's not really like the most homophobic city. Like, there's going to be slurs and people might not approve of it, but you're not likely in air quotes, that likely to be like part of a hate crime or something like that. If you tell somebody you're gay, chances are they're going to not think too much about it. We have a couple gay bars that you can go in and out pretty safely, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I'm like, that's not really enough. Like, you're kind of enforcing like a cop stuff. You're acting like it's not something that's part of someone's identity. Like, can we get a little bit more for that? But I think about some of the other places in this country where it's not even a little bit okay to be the person that you are, to be gay or anything like that. And I wonder what it's like for, I don't know, I think the stereotype would be like deep red state Texas, but I can also just use like Greene County, Pennsylvania, honestly. What's it like for kids growing up in those areas where the little sliver that they're getting is revolutionary compared to like what everyone around them says is okay?
Mm-hmm.
And not saying that Disney shouldn't go harder with that. They absolutely should. I mean, They can afford to put out a movie that costs $1 billion that nobody goes sees, and they'll be fine. They can afford to take the quote-unquote hit. But I wonder what these minuscule things mean to people that are in much worse situations. I wonder if it means anything to them. I'd like to know.
Yeah, that's an interesting point of view. Like, to me, it's like, basically after all this time and, like, the, like, minuscule efforts that Disney's made over time, like, it feels so, like, kind of toothless.
Oh, it is. But don't get me wrong. It's still like you didn't do anything.
But yeah, it definitely still could make a difference to someone somewhere. But
it's just something that's worth thinking about. Which it's not to give anybody kudos for doing the bare minimum.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a kind of sad thing where, like, wow, the bare minimum is actually like a step up for a lot of situations for some people.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, you think about movies like Crash or Green Book, where some people are like, oh, I never considered racism. You're like, oh my god.
It's like it really took, like, it really took this, like, this was the thing, like.
Yeah, and it's sad, but, I mean, I guess every little bit helps. That's the hope spot that I'm trying to hold on to, the little bit of.
Yeah. No, yeah, totally. I feel you. I feel you there.
But at the same time, things need to be very explicit because, wow, if people won't try to gal pals or buds anything if you don't make it explicit, we dig up people's graves and I'm like, man, these two women held hands, they must be really good friends. Like, what? Yeah, I'm sure they were pretty good friends as they got married. Like, no, that's typically a thing between men and women. Like, yeah, if you put your ideas onto it, like, come on.
Yeah, I'm reading this book, like, true to my entire brand, about female union organizers in the 1920s.
Yeah.
And, like, most of them were queer, and I was really excited when I read the intro to this book because it's a female writer, and she mentioned, like, her, like, partner, like, in the intro that was written in, like, 2011, before she could have gotten married, kind of thing, but, like, she mentions her partner who has a definitely female name and, like, their daughter, and I was like, yes, she's not gonna, like, gloss over the fact that these women were all together. Like,
yeah, and
it's the little things.
It is, like we said. I don't know if we said this before the show or once we started, but it's the little things that help keep you going, and that's a major part of things. Marginalized groups are so important to the progression of this country, is because people are like, yo, I'm not gonna take this shit anymore. And you know what? Neither should you guys. I mean, like you said, a lot of like queer women are organizing unions, and sometimes to get things done, you have to go for certain groups. But they're like, hey, we're getting treated like garbage, and so are you, like straight white dudes. Like, you shouldn't have to work 60 hours in a week just to make below minimum wage of whatever it was at the time, and that's garbage that you have to do that.
There wasn't even actually a minimum wage.
Yeah, there was no minimum wage. Like,
they were the ones who
and all that.
Yeah, they were the ones who got that on the books.
Exactly, and it's, I'm sure there were a lot of guys that were working worse jobs and like, no, you're just trying to like be a woman all over the place and make things worse. It's like, stop fighting when I'm trying to make things better for you. But nevertheless, they persisted and made things better because, I mean, in the 70s, in the queer community, a lot of civil rights were black women. I mean, guys were there because statistically...
Statistically, they ought to be, but...
But, and that's your fights have to be intersectional, I believe. Your people have to be, and, you have to know that things are race and gender and class and sexuality, and I don't know.
Yeah, man.
I'm glad they're being
Onward,
looked at.
really spurring the deep discussions here.
I mean, sometimes when you do nothing, people have to do a lot. I mean, but how was it as a movie, like as a story, like as some fluff?
It was really, I had a really good time. Like,
good.
I laughed. I didn't quite cry, but like I was like, oh yes, this is appropriately cathartically emotional, kind of like you're getting me with that pathos there, Mr. Pixar. But
good. But
I think one of the funniest things though was that they in the credits at the very end, because we weren't sure if there was going to be an after credits scene, so we were just chilling. And at the very end of the credits, like after the songs and all of that, they actually had like a shout out to Wizards of the Coast that was like, thank you for the use of, like, I think it was the gelatinous cube and one other D&D like monster or concept or something that they had used in the story.
And they legally have to, right?
Yeah, so like I guess like Gary Gygax is the one who decided that gelatinous cube, like, put a big old TM on the gelatinous cube.
That's
which
so
is so
weird.
funny.
It's a square slime girl. Like
Oh.
you can't own that. I mean, you can, but I like the concept of slime girls. I'm not sure why or what that means. But I don't think it has to be like a necessarily like sexual thing. It's like, oh hey, like a cute amorphous person.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty chill. Well, not completely amorphous, but you know.
Yeah. I think my I can't quite decouple it in my mind from the fact that I have mostly seen slime girls or slime folk in adult entertainment.
Look, I'm not going to say it's not part of it. I'm not going to pretend to be somebody I'm not. That's definitely part of it. But I think it's also funny when people are like, hey, I made like some food characters. Like, here's Waffle Boy, and here's like Cherry Pie Girl, and she's like the goop from the cherry pie. They're like, oh, like she's like a slime girl, but they'd like, she's not like super busty or weird or anything. She's just like a person made of goop. Like, oh, hey, and there's like Cupcake Woman. Like, oh, okay, this is all fine. Like,
like, oh,
but if
okay,
somebody's
good.
like, hey, but here's like some big old titties and like a bouncy old dick, like, oh cool, this is great, like this is also fine, like
this is fine, but for a different audience.
Yeah, this is, decouple them. You have the kids content and the adult content, very obviously divided, but we all can appreciate slime is what I'm saying. Nickelodeon was ahead of the curve is all I'm saying.
It's, us watching Slime Time after school and we were like 12, like, hope this won't awaken anything in me. Like,
alas. Who knew? There was nothing we could do. It was ahead of our look. There's nothing we could do.
There's nothing we could do.
I watched something that made me feel emotional recently. I caught up on Steven Universe Future.
Oh yeah, I really need to do that now that I'm home.
It's these latest 2 episodes were like, oh man, like I don't know what Rebecca Sugar thinks they're doing all the time, just hurting all of us like this. But there's like some intense feels, and not in the way we're used to having, like where Garnet got mad at Pearl, like, oh, you can relate fusion to being like a relationship or sex or like some kind of metaphor. But not these 2 past episodes. There wasn't really any metaphor. This was just text. There's no subtext. I don't really want to spoil it too much for you, but Steven has an idea in this one episode and it doesn't go through and he just feels very upset about it. You're like, oh no, like, it's not going to go well. Like, if you've seen something before, like this is going to be bad. But the second episode, because I guess they're coming out in pairs, I mean, this is spoilers, but it's not anything serious. Steven's been having some issues, like, he's been glowing pink a lot. And it happens in the first episode of Steven Universe Future, and you're like, oh, cool, I guess he's getting new powers or something. And I guess it's all culminating to this, and Connie's like, yo, you should go to the doctor. Because he's looking pretty bad, actually. Like, he's, like, swelling up and stuff. And basically what happens in it, he's like, I don't know how to go to the doctor. She's like, well, my mom's a doctor at the hospital, she has some time. And Miss Maheshwaran's like, so we're doing some tests, and so I took your x-ray, and luckily the crystal gems let me x-ray them, and all that shows up on them is their gem. Like, that's all they are, is projections. But you have a gem and a skeleton, so you do have like at least partially human body. She's like, but let's look at your head real fast. And there's like tons of cracks in his head, like his head's like, not tons, there's some. And she's like, so these are like really thin hairline, like, and everything's perfectly aligned. It almost looks like you broke bones and they healed instantaneously. But like, there's a ton of broken bones here. Like, he's like, what's that mean? He's like, you've healed the physical trauma, but like, I don't know if you've dealt with like the mental trauma. He's like, is something wrong with my brain? She's like, no, not wrong with your brain. It's just you've gone through so much trauma. Like, is there anything in your childhood that you may think, like, may have left an impact? Like, and he kind of smiles like, well, when I was little, they canceled my favorite snack, and that kind of hurt. And then I got attacked by a monster, and you see his, like, face start to, like, float. And he, like, pretty much explains the first few episodes and the first arcs. Like, and then, like, you know, these aliens came down and, like, knocked me out, and I woke up in a coma, like, on a spaceship. He's like, hold on, wait, what? He's like, oh, well, that's just the first part. Like, Steven.
Steven, Jesus Christ.
And, you know, basically she's like, so the human brain releases a hormone called cortisol when you're stressed. And I think you've gone through so much stress in such a little time that maybe your gem is reacting to, like, a gem version of that. So anytime you are encountering the minorest of stresses, your body thinks that you're going to die. And I'm like, holy shit, like, that makes so much sense. Like, and, like, you see all these times where he was just getting fucked up, like, the gems were throwing him at stuff, because to them, like, they can't break their bones, like, who cares? But he was like, oh, I guess all this cute slapstick we were watching this whole time was, oh, haha, remember that time he, like, fell off of the house, like, down that mountain onto the beach in the first episode? Yeah, he probably broke all of his bones when he did that. It's like, oh, wow, thanks, Rebecca Sugar, like, why are you doing this? But also, like,
love to be traumatized by a children's show.
Yeah, I imagine that the thesis was they were sitting there and people were like, Rebecca, we don't want you to have to put in the show, but, like, how is Steven made? Like, can you, like, give us some more adult answers? And they're like, yeah, I'll give you some adult answers on that ass. Like, Steven has trauma. And you're like, oh no, this isn't what I was hoping for. It's like, you wanted some adult stuff? Here you go. This is an adult show. And you're like, no, I just wanted to know if Greg Universe fucked a rock. That's all I wanted to know. I didn't want all this.
I never asked for this.
But it's getting really kind of deep stuff, and it puts you in a similar place as Steven, because there's a lot of things changing around him and thus us. Not just, again, small spoiler, like Sadie killing the suspects breakup.
Aww.
But, like, they're all like, that's fine, like, you know, I want to do this, and, like, Buck Dewey wants to do one thing, Sour Cream's good doing his thing, and the fish pizza girl, I can't remember her name, she's like, hey, I'm gonna go do this other thing too. Like, they all go on with their lives because they were teenagers and they're growing up. Mm-hmm. And then Sadie meets, like, a new person, and actually her and Lars don't want to date, and Sadie's dating this non-binary person named Shep, who everyone likes, but Steven doesn't like, just because of, you're the person who broke up my favorite ship and my favorite band. Oh. Kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like,
the Yoko Ono of...
And as the viewer, we're like, yeah, I don't have a problem with Shep, but I don't want them to be doing what they're doing, because that's changing my status quo, that we watched everyone fight the diamonds and fight for all this. Like, we have our happily ever after. Like, we fought Spinel, and we finally got our happily ever after. And everything's going their own separate ways. How life does. But Steven is, like, 16, and teenagers are like, hey, that was fun that we had a little band back in high school, and maybe we toured a little bit, but I'm going to go be a doctor, or I'm going to continue being a DJ, but I don't want to be in a band, I want to be a DJ. And someone's like, hey, we dated, like, once at the donut shop, but we're just not for each other. Maybe I want to be an adventurer. Maybe she wants to be in a band with her new partner. And everyone else is dealing with these things, but as a child who was like, the only thing that mattered to me was saving the universe and just surviving, and now that's done, I want to live a life, but now I have nothing. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of like your favorite show. Like, hey, we finally get the resolution, and we always want to know, well, what's next? Give us a sequel, please. Like, what happened after the Half-Blood Prince? Like, you know, what happened after episode 6? And then you find out, like, you can't be pleased. There's nothing that the Star Wars trilogy could have done to please everybody. Like, yeah. Subvert your expectations, meet your expectations. Give us a New Hope again, give us something completely different. Bring Palpatine back. Like, did anyone want that? I don't know. Like, nobody wanted that, but we're like, well, I mean, based on the fact that we tried some shit like this before, and y'all want us to do the same shit. Y'all want us to have Yoda and Luke Skywalker doing lightsabers, so we're going to do the I am your father thing again. Y'all like that the first time.
Like, did like that the first time, y'all.
So it's okay, so what happens after the happily ever after? Well, people have to move on, and that's weird to watch, And it's like an interesting episode that I like that it's called a different show, even though it's basically just an epilogue. They could have just called it Steven Universe Season X. But it's interesting that they call it a different show, and it is really weird that I like this, but I don't know if I'd want to say, like, okay, happily ever after, well, what happens next? Like, no. Like, just, we don't want that from the creator. Let's just go with our coffee shop AU fan fiction. Like, not as a joke, but if the story progresses in a realistic way, it's weird. And things change, and we don't get the status quo, and that's weird to think about. Like, I think about, like, maybe fan fiction for My Hero Academia, and, like, oh man, like, who's your ship? Like, Deku and Uraraka, Deku and Bakugo. It's like, well, it's possible that would happen, but, like, part of the dynamic that's fun is all the characters being together, but some of them are going to go to maybe, like, hey, you know what? Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, yeah, some of them are going to go different places, and some of them are going to develop differently as the story continues to progress.
Yeah,
more characters will come in. Like, we didn't have Lemillion last year. Like,
yeah, there's more people, and maybe Deku's like, I want to go do a stint in America like All Might did. Like, maybe or go to another country. Maybe he wants to go to like England. Maybe he thinks All Might just went to another country to get experience. Maybe he does that. Or Raka wants to help her family. Maybe Bakugo's like, I want to stop crime in every continent. I don't know. Maybe somebody goes to college and it's not the same anymore because that's how life works, and it's interesting to see a show throw out its status quo as a status quo. And that's very interesting. I recommend this show. It's only like 12 episodes, and some of the stuff it's just slice of life stuff, but that's the point, so it doesn't feel like filler.
Nice. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check it out.
Sorry for the filibuster, but that kind of all spilled out. I wasn't planning any of this. I completely forgot I said that till you said something about like a crystal when you were watching Onward. And it just brought something forth. Can you tell I've been sitting alone with my thoughts?
No, nothing.
For about 2 months now.
Nothing suspicious about that. Yeah, do we want to jump onto the talking about MHA a little bit in more depth?
Let's do that.
Kind of follow the segue.
Yeah, sorry to get weird, but My Hero is still very good. I'm loving this arc.
Who's
a lot,
weird?
Actually.
No one's weird. We are totally regular people in a totally regular time.
That's true. Everything is everything. But no, My Hero is good. They're doing still doing the class festival arc. And I guess this is episode 18 or so of the dub.
Yeah.
It's once they've got underway with the rules in the festival, and Eri comes to visit the school with Lemillion, who, poor guy, can't sneak around anymore because he doesn't have a quirk. But he got that thick ass though. He got the juicy peach. He said, I don't know what he said in the
what's
sub.
The meme, like the clap of my ass cheeks.
Oh yeah, I'm dummy thick. Like, he hides in the bush, like, hey guys, I brought you a peach. Like, oh, Eri, but also my big old butt. So the localization team did a very good job. And basically just walk around the school a little bit, and Deku continues to be very bad with women, which is very funny.
Charming. Hilarious.
Nijire is getting ready for the beauty pageant, which Deku looked very concerned that he didn't know about. He's like, oh, Aizawa didn't say anything about a beauty pageant. Like, why are you acting like you would have entered the beauty pageant? Or have to judge. Like, he reacted in a very strange way, but Nejire was wearing a very low-cut top, which I love that Togata's like, hey, a perfectly normal thing.
I was gonna say, like, you're gonna... It's like, this is a child, my dude. Like, you gotta really sweep up that sentence really quickly. Like, I love the...
Wait, what do you mean?
With the beauty pageant thing? Like, wasn't it... What's the name of the third year?
I think her name's Nejire, and there's
Nejire? Yeah. I was gonna say, like, she's like, still, like, what, like, 16?
Oh, yeah, probably. No, third year, she might be 18, 17, no. Yeah, she might be 17 or 18. Depending, maybe 16, 17, 18. I don't remember. She's a senior in high school.
Okay, yeah. I know she's a senior. So She could be of legal age. I was just gonna say, like, my dude, like, this is... Let's talk about how weird it is that they're having a beauty pageant that's so, like, kind of weirdly sexualized in a high school.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird, because whenever you do that stuff in school, UA doesn't seem to have any rules. And I'm sure
this
they just
is true.
We have a beauty pageant, do what you want to do. And they're like, I want to be sexy. They're like, yeah, we're not even going to fucking monitor this. Like, we have
This is none of our business. We just said you could do what you want.
We have a festival where the kids beat the shit out of each other. Like, if you want to show like half a titty, like, that's fine. Like, one of our superheroes wears skin tight clothes. It's fine. It doesn't matter. Which, you know, I mean, I appreciate that it's a regular school in that sense. One thing that Mei Hatsume said, she's like, well, the cultural festivals where, like, the support class really get to shine, we got overshadowed in the sports festival. I'm like, you fought in the tournament. Like, you could have gone to the second round of the tournament. you tricked your opponent. Like, you easily could have. Who did Aida fight? Todoroki?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. Mei could have probably beat Todoroki with, like, the appropriate gadget if she had, like, had something, you know? It's...
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, she couldn't have beat Bakugo, probably. But she could have at least got to him. Maybe, like, tussled with Todoroki a little bit.
Tussled with Todoroki. Title of my fanfic.
Hanging with Mr. Cooper and tussling with Todoroki. Tussling and tugging.
Oof.
But yeah, he's going to get his support item soon. And then she's always up in his face, which is interesting.
Yeah, she's like I feel like Hatsume is like the whatchamacall, wait, she's up in whose face?
Deku,
yeah, I was gonna say, like, I feel like she's like the sleeper ship. Kind of like people who are like, you know, like Harry, Hermione, Harry, Ginny, whatever, like, I'm a Harry Luna shipper, like, that's the Deku Hatsume.
It's interesting. I love, like, the crack ships that are like, hey, it's not like they've just shared a frame together. It's like there's a basis off of it, you know. It's
yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be upset about that, you know. It's, however, it does ruin, like, the fiction of, like, oh no, she would be a great sidekick, because once he masters One for All, he could just be guinea pig for all kinds of crazy bullshit. And, like, you know, that's what love is hey, I'll try this armor for you, and maybe I'll break it, maybe I won't.
Yeah.
All Might still has amazing reflexes. That was pretty cool. He called her Silver Snitch that she just had flying around the forest.
Yeah, that was wild. Yeah, I feel like I came up with that dynamic on the fly, but I'm, like, patting myself on the back now because it was kind of spot on, because she is kind of like the goofy, like, kind of checked out, like, character from a different, like, class that, like, Deku somehow gets a little bit, even though everyone else thinks she's weird.
Who was, you said Harry and Luna?
Yeah, like Harry and Luna.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they worked to get together one time, you know?
Yeah. Like, this is, like, spoilers moving forward because they have to have a fight in this season, obviously.
Oh, yeah, he's about to fight Gentle.
Yeah, but, like, the one thing that Deku does have on top of, like, not just Harry Potter, but most shonen protagonists, with the understanding that Harry Potter is somewhat of a shonen protagonist. I
mean, it basically is.
It's basically like a tournament-style anime being at Hogwarts.
Yeah, if not like a mix between shonen and isekai anime. Like, oh, you're transported to a different world where you're the best ever, like...
Yeah, and despite, like, just like Naruto, Harry Potter is dumb as rocks, and has one spell that he continues to use far beyond having learned more advanced magic. Like, Harry's got Expelliarmus, and Naruto's got the, like, shadow clones, and it's all you need, I guess. But on the upside of Harry Potter, Deku's actually, like, continues to just be, like, is refreshingly smart. Yeah. Like, it's such an interesting element of his, like, kind of, like, hero otaku likeness.
Well, it's funny because, like, Bakugo always calls him damn nerd, like, kind of, like, in a shitty way. But, like, he's a fucking nerd, like...
Yeah, like, he's a, like, truly, like, an otaku about heroes. But because he's so, like, checked into all of it, like, he actually uses like really smart strategy when he fights.
Yeah, like
in
if
a
I
way
found
that
out,
like other shonen heroes do not.
yeah, like if he had, if there's like some twist, because I guess we're starting to, I guess if you watch the movie, it kind of spoils like the Doctor a little bit, which I've been seeing from manga stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He spoilers for like 10 seconds if you care, just jump ahead. But like he works with the League of Villains, um, and that's like a point with the movie, like how certain people get powers or whatever. Take that as you will, but I wouldn't be surprised if like it turns out like Deku has like some latent quirk, or there's like a way like, oh hey, you didn't have a quirk when you were little because the little toe pinky thing, but you can get one later because
Mm-hmm.
this is still relatively new science, or if they just straight up lied to him, because why not? If he had like a hyper analysis quirk, like I wouldn't be surprised, because like Deku's ability to like come up with plans on the fly, be able to like bounce around a room like Jet, although like he had no practice doing that, he can like perceive really fast around him.
Mm-hmm.
If it turned out like, oh hey, yeah, actually you did have a quirk, it's actually just hyper analysis, which again not really great for hero work because you can't punch stuff, but like hey, congratulations, I wouldn't be surprised about that. But I agree with you. I like that he's smart. He's like a high B student pretty consistently from hard work.
Yeah, there's just like there's a like a moment in his fight with Gentle, like after you learn what Gentle's quirk is, where like it seems like his quirk is going to be kind of like an insurmountable like barrier to Deku being able to stop him, but Deku's able to do this like very just like smart thing with his new ranged attack that
That's
we're
good.
also concerned about.
I don't understand like why that's new to him. I feel like Horikoshi just forgot. Cause like even the way that he does it is the same exact way he did it before. I'm like, this is such a good move you have. Whatever, it's fine. Even all my points out, I don't have any long range attacks. Like, bro, you can punch the weather in a different direction. Like, just do that. Like,
Right.
what do you mean like you don't have a ranged attack? This is patently obvious. But whatever. And I think I know what Gentle's quirk is, kind of from like previews and spoilers that I'm seeing like on Instagram. Really sucks being 2 weeks behind. Simulcast my ass, but whatever. It seems I enjoy him as a hero. Does he still stay like compelling as a hero? Like he's not just. I kind of want him to like be a joke of a hero where like it gets resolved and they still get to go on with their sports festival.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will neither confirm nor deny what the outcome of the whole
fair.
deal is, but it was a really satisfying fight.
Good. Also, they made it seem there was going to be a big deal about the Gold Tips Imperial Tea. Like Momo has it, and then Gentle wants to get a cup of it. Like, oh, is this going to be a thing? Like, no, it's just the name of the episode. Like, oh, cool, thanks, okay, fine. I think it does break a lot of conventions though. Like how Baku goes, is like he's the jackass rival character, but he's stronger than the main character, and he's not stupid. Like
He's not stupid or a bad person or like willing to sacrifice his morals for things. He's just a jackass.
yeah, like he's not Vegeta. Like, oh yeah, I'll take the Majin Buu power to like surpass Kakarot, even though like I'm gonna blatantly be evil and hurt a lot of people and have to like basically like sacrifice myself to not like to atone for what I did. He's like, no, I just like am willing to kill a villain, which apparently not actually. He just like to tell people to die. You know, jackass, but like smart guy. Tutors people, just is bad with people. I find that interesting, and just they've done good with the characters in this show. Anything else happened in that episode really? Deku got kicked out of the dance team to carry Aoyama around.
Yeah, he's just he just doesn't have the moves. He doesn't have the rhythm.
Yeah, but this is just blatantly silly. Like Mina wore a suit to tell him he's on a different team now. Like, why'd you do that? But I like it. It's little gags. But it's fun. I appreciate that you was like, hey, I see you writing in these books. Like, can you show me how to write notes a little bit better? Yeah, I don't know. I like seeing them all get along and be a team. I like the dynamic of the slice of life stuff. Like, I'd watch a whole season of just this kind of shit. I know it's not for everybody, and it's not shonen-esque.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, once you've built these characters and we're all invested in them, you can do, like, anything with them, and I think people would appreciate it. Like, apparently people really did appreciate that during the internship arc they showed what Froppy was doing. Just since we see so much of Deku, it's nice to see like other people in the show because you've made like 16 compelling characters in that main class.
No, yeah, I agree. Like that's like I was saying, like after the overhaul arc was over, I was like, thank God, I need to get back to my my more important children.
Yeah, like there was a moment I think it was in the first movie. Yeah, they're all like they all end up on this island. Like it's called Island, I think. There's like a lot of technology and festivals there, and they all kind of independently end up there. And there's like a conference or like a ball later on. You get to see like Kirishima and Bakugo in suits, and Kirishima's like, I knew you wouldn't bring a suit, so I brought one for you, and they both look good in them, obviously. But when shit hits the fan, you get to see what all the other students were doing, like what their personal life is doing. They also do it like during the One for All fight, or the All for One fight, and like you go to see like, oh, like what's Mina doing, what's Hakogure doing, what's Mineta doing, and there's like little moments where people are like holding a pillow, or like even though Mineta has like a lot of pictures of like women in his room, he's like, oh shit, like All Might know. Jiro's kind of like playing music or something, like has like an instrument near her. Like you could see what all the characters are feeling through these little things. Like you had to do a whole room design for a 10-second cutaway.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the kind of stuff I like. Like they've made us care about all these characters because they're so cool, and I just want to see them do stuff. And we can all picture how strong they'd be. It's not just Deku like can punch real good. Like I think that the second movie shows so well. Like Kondo or Koji. Not Koji Kondo, not the composer, but Koji, the Anna voice guy.
Mm-hmm.
In the movie, Bakugo and Deku get their ass beat, and it's looking pretty grim. And the villain's about to end them, but you just see like a flock of crows come in, and your first thought's like, oh, is this Dark Shadow? I forget his name, Tokiyami. But then like, oh no, this actual crows. Koji called them like to make up basically a smoke cloud so they can get Deku and Bakugo out of there. I'm like, this is the shit that like I want to see. Like, yeah, you would think his power's pretty trash until, well, we can make ants change the ground. We can make a smoke screen out of birds. We can do all kinds of crazy stuff, and that's what I want to see. Not just, hey, Deku figured out that, hey, you know, he can punch real good. Well, he can flick real good too, and it makes people go away. Like, oh yeah,
flick real good.
Kind of figured that. I'm sure Bakugo could flick real good too, if you know what I'm talking about. But.
Hey.
But that's, I don't know.
Yeah, you know, it's a good show. Someone else should watch it. Watch with us. Steph, what kind of quirk would you have? What would you want a quirk to be? Or if you thought you got a quirk, what would it be? Okay, I was gonna say, well, is it what quirk would I have, or what quirk could you extrapolate based on my already existing powers?
Yeah, kind of like we want to do it in part of our spin dash round on the main show.
Yeah, well, I would say, I mean,
based on your anime protagonist life.
Based on my anime protagonist life, God, like either the ability to hold organizations together by the skin of my teeth, or
no, we're not doing crappy X-Men mutant powers because although that's a good power, it's not that. That's not that.
Not really a quirk. Yeah, I mean, speed reading probably. Like, if I had to pick a boring thing, like, because Lord knows I can read incredibly fast. God, if there was I feel like maybe if it was like a physical manifestation of a personality trait, like something like what's his name's Red Riot, like some kind of like turning into rocks thing because I'm so fucking stubborn.
That's actually pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it's a good quirk. I like the quirks that sound pretty straightforward until you start to think about like what that can possibly mean.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's kind of like how we always talk about like what the secondary powers you have to like for a power to be effective.
Yeah. Like Todoroki needs to be able to resist frostbite on one side and burns on the other side.
Yeah, so like it's like otherwise you're just like Wolverine cutting yourself every time you put your claws out kind of thing. Like
yeah, which that sucks.
which is so, like, fucking emo, like.
Well, I mean, you know, he's always being poisoned by the adamantium, too. I mean, he's just so edgy.
The most edgy.
But I like the other half of that, too, where it's like, you know, your power is invisibility, but, like, what else can you do with that? Well, technically, I can refract light in a different way. That's the kind of stuff that gets interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, Kaminari using himself as a lightning rod, which, that's a little bit more, it's not obvious, but it's more obvious, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So seeing the stuff that you could do, like oh, you know, maybe you could take your sound wave, instead of blasting them through the air, you blast them through the ground to, like, shake people down, or Red Riot can, like, become unbreakable and be used as a shield or a spear rather than just punching stuff. He can absorb damage, and that's the kind of stuff I like. Oh, that's pretty cool. I don't know what mine would be.
Yeah, what would yours be?
Maybe some kind of, like, energy boost or extension or something. I don't know, some kind of, like, a hyper person. I like to run fast and, like, push myself beyond. I don't know. I think about, like, how Rappa, like, can punch real hard, because it's basically just, like, he can twitch his muscles.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he can punch fast necessarily, so he can do that. I don't know, I feel like it'd be something that makes me move.
Yeah, I feel like definitely it would be some sort of movement-based quirk for you. Maybe not, like, as, like, completely running-based as Ida's, but, like...
something in a similar way. Like, even if it's just... like, I don't know, I feel like it'd be, like, called Twitch or something, like a reflex thing. Like, I could catch things that are falling, or like block stuff if someone, like, tries to slide me. I can, like, block it real fast, but it's based on just kind of, like, expending energy to move in a snappy way. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would just call it Twitch. Like, no, call it Snap. That's it.
So yeah, because Twitch, I feel like you got the branding issues.
Yeah. You know, that's called, I believe it's called a moment in physics. When you derive the fourth time.
Oh.
What is it? It's
above my pay grade.
It's like meters per second squared, and I think meters per second cubed is moment. Like, yeah. Like velocity, acceleration, and then moment. Or something. I don't know. It's not even useful most of the time. It's just one of those things like, hey, I know a thing. But it normally just is always the number one, because you keep deriving, you eventually get to 1 or 0. Science and math. We should add that to our list. What would your quirk be?
Yeah,
cool.
definitely.
It's good stuff. You know, it's
stuff. And would you, so aside, if you did have a quirk that was powerful and not like a goofy quirk, would you, like, choose to go into a hero track, or would you choose civilian life?
If I had like
if you had like a hero level, like something that would get you on the X-Men team as opposed to just make you a mutant.
That's a good question. Would I want to be on the hero track? I mean, based on my hero's world, or their society, not their world, but their society.
Yeah.
Let's say go with the Japanese society, because we don't know what it's like in the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to go on the hero path, because the best way to make money and not feel like a jerk.
Yeah.
But that might have something to do with cultural norms about, like, looking out for people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, depending on what... I mean, I'm also a coward, so depending on, like, what the quirk would be it. Because if it was, like, a super speed quirk, that I feel like I could get out of danger. Like, if I was, like, Aida or Red Riot or Jet or something, I feel like I could get away from getting hurt. But if your ability is, like, Bakugo is just confident, but his quirk doesn't necessarily protect him from damage, you know? Or Araka doesn't protect themselves from damage. Deku can just eat a bunch, but, like... yeah, if I wasn't able to, like, defend or evade, I would not be a hero, because I would be too scared of, like, getting killed by, like, some dude who's mad that heroes are, like, making money. Like, oh, I got stabbed because I wanted to save somebody. No thanks.
Well, because, I mean, is Uraraka, her family, none of them are hero people, right? Like...
yeah, they're all, like, they're in construction.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, like, her quirk, like, is something that she could use, that is powerful and she can use for hero work, but she could have also gone into, like, a trade with it kind of thing. Like, if you could run really fast, like, you could be, like, a surveyor as well as, like, a hero kind of thing, you know?
So I guess there's the other hero path, too. There's, like, rescue heroes and stuff like that, like 13 and the Wild Pussycats. So I mean, I'd probably go to be a hero depending on what it was. It just depends on. I guess it depends on what it is and what I got. I don't know.
Yeah.
It does seem fun, but I'd want to. If I'm the kind of person I am now, I would definitely try to still do something that's like contrarian in a way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no, I don't want to be a hero. Everybody does that. Let me be an artist with my non-art quirk, or like let me be in construction with my non-construction quirk.
Yeah, well, I feel like they also, like, you could, it also just kind of ties into, like, you're making, like, what, like a 12-year-old pick a career? Like, even earlier than you're already making, like, and, like, a fairly dangerous one? Like, people are going out and, like, doing hero work at, like, age, like, 15.
Yeah,
Like,
that's wild, and it's weird too because they still have like 15-year-old brains.
mm-hmm.
Even if the like, I mean, you think about it, like Aida got like fought by Stain, like Stain shouldn't be able to like beat heroes. Like his quirk's good, don't get me wrong, but it's not like you think you take Todoroki in his prime, like with Endeavor's level of experience. Stain's not touching Todoroki. He's not touching Deku or Bakugo either. Like he's not going to get the chance.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Aida's whole thing is being so fast. I mean, I don't know if he's specifically like lightning fast, or if he's just like pretty fast for a person. Like, I know his reciprocal burst is good, but I don't think he's not like absurdly fast in a way like you can't see him. Like you could see him coming.
Yeah,
you
like
know?
he's not, like, gonna be running faster. Like, he should still take the bullet train kind of thing, like.
Yeah. You know, I don't know if he could dodge. Like, I don't know if he could dodge a bullet kind of thing, but he could like
Mm-hmm.
run next to a bullet if that makes sense. So like the fact that like Stain was able to like stab him or get the jump on him, like that's like a rookie mistake that no adult would have made with the like looking for him. Like there was heroes that got like ganked by him, but like you mean tell me you went out looking for a serial killer and they got the jump on you? Like that's you gotta do better, Chief. That is dangerous work for a 15-year-old. You're definitely right.
Like, yikes.
But I guess so. But on the other hand, though, I don't think that they're supposed to be. I think this is different. This is a new paradigm for the world.
A new
Because they're
world.
yeah, because like the League of Villains has like struck them so many times, and Stain changed everybody's mind. Because I think they're just supposed to like go on field trips and learn how to be a hero and do internships where they're like
As opposed to
walking
being,
the street,
like, in actual, like, high stakes life and death fights. Like, this isn't like a fantasy world like Naruto where it's just like the regular thing you do to be
yeah,
to be in life and death situations at age 13. Like,
yeah. I think this is. I think they've stated that this is different because I don't even think they were supposed. First off, they weren't even really supposed to get their hero exams. Like, Aizawa was like, "Well, we can do it because like there's such a shortage, and I think y'all need the experience."
mm-hmm.
But like people point out that UA never gets their licenses on the first try because everyone just goes for them. But like, yet his class was like, "No, we're badasses. Like, we're so good." It's like, wow, it's odd that you all got your license to begin with. Like Todoroki and Bakugo, like you're still above what was supposed to happen. I mean, you're behind your class, but wow, I don't know how we got this far. Because I think everybody else there was like second years and third years from other schools. Like, they definitely were not supposed to be like, and like fighting Overhaul. Like, they definitely shouldn't have been there. Like, that was a whole other thing. I don't know what was going on. That was, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not normal for like 13-year-olds to be in these life or death situations. I really think that's their class is particularly in the middle of it. Like, yeah, when Bakugo did his internship, he was just hanging out with Best Jeanist.
Yeah, getting his hair brushed. Like,
yeah, and the only reason Deku fought Stain is because he jumped off a train and decided to go do something else. Like, Jet was like, we're just going to learn how to jump around. I don't know. You know, or Araka learned how to knife fight, but she was never, like, actually knife fighting anybody. Like,
I love her.
She's so great.
I love her so much. She's just like, like, I do have a superpower, but you know what I'm weak at? Hand to fucking hand. Like,
I mean, she found a weakness in her own fight style, and she learned how to deal with it. Like, it makes you wonder, if she had learned how to knife fight before she fought Bakugo, like, would she be able to, like, sidestep that or something? Or like if she was a little quicker, she's like, I'll just sidestep you. Like that's his weakness, is if you get yeah, she's a good hero to learn how to like just get next to you, grab you, degravify you, then like I just want to come down, give you gravity again. Oh, you get jack people up all the time. So yeah, I think you're right. I don't think this is normal. I mean, they were camping and like just some dude who ripped his skin off and like guy with long teeth just attack him. Like that's
true. That's
you
true.
don't plan for that. It's rough, buddy. Hey, times are times. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be a shorter episode, but you know, we did a full one. I feel like.
Yeah, we actually we stuck around. We somehow will manage to speak for an hour to each other. Wild how we're friends.
It does feel natural, actually, which is good. That means we've been doing this for a while, and we actually are friends, and we're not just speaking to a microphone. It's my tonality, I think, changes a little bit. Like we all have a radio voice.
Yeah.
But I'm still full of bullshit. Like I don't feel like I'm doing better talking to
We're good talkers.
I think I'm a good talker.
We are good talkers.
Man, my teachers used to say stuff to my parents like your son speaks well. Mm-hmm. And that's not something they're supposed to say to black people, like, you speak so well.
You're so articulate. Like...
or like, your kids are so polite and well behaved. And I think
as if it's like not the norm.
Yeah, that's what we thought. And then my parents started to see like the other kids, how they spoke and behaved. Mm-hmm. And my dad was like, that should have been a racist comment, but alas, you guys are just more well behaved than your classmates. Because we grew up in a bad area, and a lot of people were just shitty people. Because kids are bad, and if you don't teach them to be better, they're just going to be bad. You can't blame the kids. Mm-hmm. But wow, like a lot of people I grew up with like talk to their students talk to the teachers so poorly. It's like, holy shit, like maybe that speaks so well thing was actually just shocked because like, wow, how are you from here? Because you speak really well. Like you must not be from here.
You don't act like the rest of the like feral children in this class. So
it's that weird situation where like, hey, take this microaggression as a compliment because it actually is, and sorry. But yeah, let's end this because
let's
get back on the train. Yeah, there's lots of time for lots more podcasting in the time to come. So
yeah.
So which one of us should let's just each give our own thing. So how about you kick this off and we'll just go back and forth and do a teamwork thing.
All right, so I'll hit the podcast info, which is if you want to listen to us. Our previous episodes, or maybe even this episode, I don't know, like time is a flat circle. You can go to characterreveal.simplecast.fm in your browser. You can find it in your podcast catcher of choice at Character Reveal. You'll see those blue curtains. You know what's up. Hit subscribe. Hit those rate and review buttons. Type something out. Like let us know what you think. Tell us how we can improve. You can find us on Twitter at CharacterRev. You can find us on Facebook at Character Reveal. You can find us on Instagram at Character Reveal. Dom, what do you want to say?
Hey, how about that? Maybe you want to find me all over the internet. That's going to be simple. You just find Brother Dom. It's easy. It's in the comments or the show description. It's simple. Come find me. Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. Probably gonna start streaming soon. The corn stream, as we could call it. Maybe you want to find Steph in various places. Well, that's going to be easy still too. She doesn't have the same branding, but that's diversity right there. You want to find her on Twitter? Captain Steph. Simple. Maybe you want to find her on Instagram. That's Hella Steph. Hella_Steph.
It is Hella_Steph.
Hella_Steph. Or you want to go on Tumblr? That's the Snow Queer. Still good name. I like that. Puns are great. And then I think we're on Patreon, whatever. You can find us on YouTube still. That'll be a link. And we're just getting by.
We are.
I think that's everything.
Keeping on, keeping on. Keep calm and carry on, as they oversay.
Hey, well, we did it. Hey, folks, thanks so much for listening to us. Times are rough, so we're all looking out for each other. So we're here to bring you all some good stuff, and hope you're here to listen. And we appreciate all you do. Till next time, We'll see you later.
Bye.
Remember that time I said square slime or something? That was good.
That was wild.
Later.
Later.